Hello, hello, hello. Can y'all hear me? Hey, Raven. You spelled it right. It's Nija, Nija. We would have started like 3 minutes ago, but I was killing this bag of horseradish chips from Trader Joe's. I'm so hungry. I let I always do this because I have ADHD, but I let time get away from me, and I look up at the clock, and I'm like, oh my god, what time is it? I do this every single day. That's why the best thing for me was Asim going back to school, because him having to be at school at a certain time and me having to pick him up at a certain time really helps me like organize my day a lot better, because I'm very like emotion based. You just ate your hamburger helper that you made last night. I wish I had some some leftovers, but I don't have any leftovers from last night. I got to figure out what I'm going to cook tonight. I need to see if I even need to cook tonight, cuz I'm going to ballet. And I usually don't cook on ballet days, but I'm hungry clearly because I'm eating potato chips. But yeah, I'm like very emotion based. Like I if I feel like doing something, that's when I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? Like even when I was homeschooling Asim, I was like, okay, well today, you know what? Today all I want you to do is read Amina 3 books, and you can do some work on your iPad. Like it was just like some days I'll be like, oh well, let's go for a walk and do, look at the scenery. Like I'm very an emotion based person. I'm not very like organized. I get things done, but here I am running off on a tangent. So this is supposed to be the Kanye show again. Mars and Pisces. I know, like I don't know if you know who Benabel Wynn is. Like well, obviously people know that I'm super into tarot. And Benabel Wynn, she's like I would call her like a tarot guru. She's a lawyer, but she's written like, a book, like a really like great book about tarot called Holistic Tarot. And she focuses on like um how to use tarot for like your personal development. And every year she like makes like a planner that you can buy, and it has like all of your like, your natal chart and everything in it. So I have all that information. I just don't understand it. I'm not like a big astrology person because it's kind of confusing to me. But yeah, like I was saying, I was really you talk about Benabel Wynn. Yeah, like she's really really good with tarot. She's created a few decks that she's one of those people like I want to be like her. She It's like she used like she's a lawyer, but tarot is like her hobby. So like she creates decks, she writes books, she does all of this as a hobby. So it's like she doesn't really care about it. So it's like she brings people into her world. If they're into what she's into, like she'll bring them in, but it's not like it's something that is making or breaking her because she has a real job. You know what I mean? So I really like her work. Benabel Wynn. I don't even know why I'm talking about this. We're supposed to be talking about Kanye, and we have to talk about this. I was about to start cursing. We have to keep talking about Deante Kyle because more clips keep surfacing, and like the more clips keep surfacing, and my homeboy who sent me the clip yesterday, he sent me the other clip, and I was like, you know what, I got to talk about this tomorrow, because like I don't know if his subscriptions are going down, or I don't know what it is, but it's like it sounds like desperation. Like you've already gotten dragged by FBA already on Twitter, so now you're going to do it. You're saying this stuff on Patreon, like behind a paywall, and then you're still posting the clips anyway. So like that doesn't make any sense to me. Like for me, like if I ever got a Patreon, it would be because I'm talking about things that I don't want to talk about in the public. Why are you why are you talking like this on your Patreon and then posting the clips on your Instagram? It's like you want the animosity. But we're gonna dig into it because he just I don't know. I people like him are like such a conundrum to me because I'm not a attention seeker, you know what I mean? But I also don't know. Well, I was a dancer at one point. So of course like my artistry is what's going to get me paid. My skill is what's going to get me paid. But um with social media and I guess content creation, I'm not getting paid for this. So it's not like the things that I'm saying can be swayed with money. And I think that's the position that he's in. So even if like he's not getting bankrolled, directly by some shadowy figure in the dark saying, okay, we want you to say these things because we want to take down these people. Even if that's not happening, like he's still using this inflammatory rhetoric because he's trying to rile some people up. So they're talking about him. And I've never been that type of person. Like, I'm not going to purposely try to rile people up. Like, even on Twitter, I'm monetized on Twitter. They pay me a very paltry sum to tweet, but I don't tweet for engagement. I tweet for my people. So like even sometimes I get sometimes I get pretty large checks for Twitter. Sometimes I don't get paid at all. But it's not going to determine like how I speak with the people on Twitter. I'm not going to be trying to like insult people just so they can be in my mentions cussing me out. And I feel like that's kind of what he's doing. He's always talking mess about FBA. I feel like he's been sent to talk mess about FBA because what other reason would you be bringing us up? Because if your ideology is so much different from the ideology of the FBA, why are you even talking about us? Leave the group. Well, leave the ethnicity, the foundational Black American. Leave that alone. Because what it seems like to me, he's like a communist or a Marxist. That is so contrary to what FBA believes. You should not be speaking on FBA. But he's clearly doing it because he wants people to react to him. So that's what we'll do. We'll react to him. And my boy Woods at Nibiru, I don't know how to say that. 1000, he posted it from Instagram, and I want to get into what he posted because apparently people are dragging Deante Kyle underneath this post, but it's just annoys me because you're not even on Twitter, so like you're saying these things and people can't really come at you because you said it all really behind a paywall. So anyways, he says white liberals sent one of their bootleg pets to attack the delineation movement and the whole lineage. This clown said a whole bunch of nothing. Yeah, and that's the same thing that we said yesterday. Like he was really just talking out the side of his neck. And we will play this other clip because this is different from the one that I played yesterday.
FBA, the foundational Black American. These niggas ain't involved in nothing outside. They ain't doing shit outside. They on the internet looking for niggas that look just like them to degrade and call tethers all day. I don't see these niggas doing no work against none of these fucking Nazis, none of these fucking Klansmen, nothing. All I see is them niggas calling out other black people all day. That's divisive as fuck. Questioning niggas. Where you from? Where was you born? Nigga gotta show you your freedom papers? Damn, massa. I gotta show you the freedom papers? Who is these niggas on this nag? Bunch of motherfucking Stevens over there trying to check a nigga blood. Wanna check a nigga papers. Sound like ICE. Another 3-letter organization. Healing and perspective or hate speech and fear mongering. But a lot of us only know how to be in community with abusers. So when niggas start talking about healing, when niggas start talking about organization, we start talking about inclusion, we start talking about mass communal practices. You've never seen that. That's not your experience. That's
Who he sound like? Who does he sound like? He sounds just like Paul Birdsong. He sounds just like Paul Birdsong. First of all, you ain't got to see nobody. You don't got to see nobody that's FBA out in the streets doing nothing. That's none of your business. You're working against the movement anyway. So the only reason why you want to see what FBA is doing is because you want a reason to crap on it. So why don't you just mind your business? You're talking about all this like BLM type organization stuff that FBA is not involved in. You don't have to worry about what the FBA people are doing. Mind your business. Mind your business. You're just mad because they've already dragged you once and they're going to keep dragging you and they're going to keep making you look stupid because you sound feminine. You sound real feminine. Let's finish what he's talking about.
not where you feel comfortable. Calling niggas names, checking niggas verification. What hood is this? What hood is that? Now, if we was gangbanging and killing each other, it would be a problem. But it's not a problem when a nigga asks where you from and it's on the internet and it's on the basis of a culture that we created out of oppression. You don't want to let other niggas participate.
Do you do y'all hear this? He sounds crazy. It doesn't matter how we created our culture. It's our culture. You can't put it on like a costume and pretend like you us while you're going behind our back and trying to disparage everything that we stand for. You might be FBA, but you're still against us. So why are you even talking? Like, I'm so sick of him because he hasn't made not one point yet. Because if somebody asks where you're from, it's not because they're trying to check you to see if you have freedom paper. I don't know. Like, just likening any of this to slavery is like extremely disrespectful. But it's to gauge your understanding of the culture and the history. It's not because we're trying to figure out how we can exclude you. No, because you're clearly saying something crazy and we're trying to figure out where are you getting your education from? Like how did you gain this perspective on something that you're not even a part of? Cuz you're not a part of it. Like I don't care if I move to Italy today and I'm in this and I'm living in Italy for 30 years. It doesn't matter. I could have a whole Italian restaurant. That don't make me Italian. I don't come from those same people. So no matter how much I immerse myself into their culture, that doesn't mean that I become them. It doesn't mean that I could ever know anything about their experience because I'm not I'm not I'm not the same as them. So when we're talking to somebody and they say something that's like outside of what we know to be true, of course you're going to question where they're from. People do it. I live in Atlanta. I'm from Decatur. I live in Pittsburgh, Atlanta right now. I didn't grow up on the west side. There's stuff that the people that grew up in my community, the one that I live in now, and I own a home, pay property taxes and everything. I've lived over here for 8 years now. Me and the person that lives across the street from me, who has lived in that house for 50 years, we do not have the same experience. So I'm not going to pretend like I can speak on the history of Pittsburgh in the same way that someone that's been living here their entire life can. Because I didn't have that experience. And I grew up 30 minutes away and I still had a different experience growing up as the same person who probably graduated high school the same year as I did, born the same time. So that, in my opinion, that is a very That is a very good question to ask if you're having a conversation with someone and they say something that sounds different than what your experience has been, and you have to try to figure out why is it different. He's trying to make it seem like that's a bad question to ask, and that doesn't even make any sense. What is wrong with him? I mean, I've already talked about it yesterday, but I really feel like, just like Charlemagne and other people in the media, they have been given certain talking points that they have to talk about. And since he already has a hatred towards FBA, of course he's going to continue to he's going to keep trying to weave us into his talking points because he's mad. Let's keep going.
In your culture, because they come over here and degrade him, and you know the business of colonization better than anybody. These niggas is brainwashed. I'm not going back and forth with no nigga that come here from another country in search of the American dream when I know this.
Okay. There is something that Pan-Africanists do when it comes to Africans that I just do not understand. Why do they infantilize them to the point where it's like they don't know nothing? They come from a poor, dirty country. They we can't treat them the way we treat each other. Like, no, you don't get a pass just because you're not from here. Why would we be giving you a pass, letting you disrespect us just because you don't know? No, I don't care if you don't know. You're gonna find out.
Shit is a nightmare. I'm not going back and forth with no nigga that think he finna get some favor from these white people. I see you niggas that's born in America do the same shit. Michigan head coach, that nigga ain't no tether. Stephen A. Smith ain't a motherfucking tether.
Yes, they are. Both of those people are tethers. Stephen A. Smith is Caribbean, and so is that Michigan, um, the University of Michigan head coach. He's from Trinidad. These are all tethers. These are people who grew up in households where their parents were telling them not to mess with us because they were afraid of our culture and the way we do things rubbing off on them. So what are you talking about? You don't even know what you don't even know what you're talking about. You're just yelling and sounding like a woman. You sound just like a woman.
How many niggas have we seen tap dance and degrade black people that are from America, born in America? When niggas do it from abroad, I don't say it's an issue with them. I know that they're brainwashed by the system because they went through colonization over.
But that does I don't care if you were brainwashed by the system. That doesn't give you a pass. And that's the problem. This is the way we were thinking. This is how we were thinking 30 years ago. We were thinking like this in the 80s and the 90s. That just because these people don't know, oh, they're brainwashed, they're colonized, that they somehow do not have to suffer the same consequences as people that do know. Right? I live in Michigan. There's so many coons here as well. I mean, of course, like it's coons and tethers all over the place. We're not going to we're not going to escape these people. And that's why I feel like they don't get a pass as far as consequences just because they don't know. Because these are the same people that are still putting on our culture as a costume. You're pretending to be us, but you don't have the same mindset. You don't have the same cognizance as we do, the same conscience as we do, and you're going around pretty much minimizing and ruining everything that our ancestors built. And it's all, in my opinion, it's all because they're jealous that they weren't able to do the same thing, so they want to tear it all down. Hold on, honey. You know what? Hold on, y'all. Sorry. Just wait 1 second. Don't come back in here. I'm sorry, y'all. It doesn't matter how many times I tell her, okay, I have something to do. I need you to be quiet, blah, 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 blah. She just does not listen. And I understand it. She just wants to be up underneath me all day. But what was I saying? Yeah, these people, they don't get a pass. They do not get a pass just because they don't know. They're colonized. They're brainwashed. I don't care. Do we get passes when we don't have the right information? Like when I was in college, I opened up a credit card and I didn't understand what APR meant, and I didn't understand how how credit worked. Period. You think they cared when I wasn't able to pay my bill? No. So when these people they come here with these colonized mindsets and they start acting like they're superior when they came here off the backs of our ancestors, we have to check them. And I don't care if you're mad about us calling somebody a tether, because these people that you just named are tethers. Stephen A. Smith is a famous tether, a legendary tether. He's the same person that said, "Oh, I wake up in the morning and I just try to figure out how I can make my bosses more money." Nothing like that will come out of a self-respecting black man's mouth ever. The only thing that I could think of that a black man would say that referring to their boss is, "Oh, I wake up in the morning seeing how I can do as little work and how I can be as invisible at the job, so don't nobody bother me, so I can come in here and get my money and leave." That sounds more like the sentiments that I've heard about from black men working in a corporate position.
Don't say it's an issue with them. I know that they're brainwashed by the system because they went through colonization over there just like we went through it over here. Why the fuck is they leaving Africa? Because Europeans are destabilizing their countries, inserting capitalist dictators, fascist dictators.
What is he talking about? What is he talking about? Their own people are destabilizing their countries. Europeans aren't even in Africa like that. The only place that they're probably still in that I can they're in South Africa for sure. But France is about to go bankrupt because they just got kicked out of all the European countries that they were in. I think the biggest problem that Africa is having right now is China. But when you talk to actual Africans living in Africa, they're happy that the Chinese are there building up their infrastructure. A lot of people come to America, not just Africans, not just any other melanated immigrants. They come here because we have a system of freedom that Americans fought for and continue to fight for, because just because we fought in the past for freedom doesn't mean it just ends. That's why these people come here. They come here because they know that they can make money, they can get over on the system, and we have laws here that protect the citizens. There are no countries in Africa that have laws to protect the citizens, especially the black ones. You can go to South Africa, they have laws that protect their citizens, but most of those people are Boers. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He probably drunk. He's probably sitting up here drunk. Right, Danae, straight nonsense. Like, what are you talking about? Let's finish this out.
In more democratic socialist societies, toppling governments and then sending the niggas fleeing, where do they go? To America. And what do? They come through with their religious minds, with their colonized minds, and destable black American revolutionaries because they don't know no better.
And that's do you see that? It's like he's giving them a pass to undermine all of the work that our ancestors have done because they don't know. You don't get a pass for that. We need you out of our communities. We have to be able to identify who you are, because you can't come here and try to destabilize what we've built just because it was destabilized in your country. And now the white man beats you in your country, so you want to come here and say, okay, well, the white man is the winner over here, so I'm going to cozy up to them. That does not work. We are not allowing that. And like I said, not knowing does not free you from consequences. Thank you, Dante 3X. Thank you for being in the stream. Thank you. Um yeah, let's just finish what he got to say because it's all mumbo jumbo. It's mumbo
A
jumbo.
bunch of niggas in America that don't know no better. They only are used to being in community with abusers. We have been oppressed in this country for 400 years. Some of us don't know how it feels not to be oppressed. Some of you ain't comfortable if you're not oppressed. You've never created an idea of what freedom looks
like. Does he not understand that what he's doing right now is being abusive? He's trying to call us abusive, but he's being abusive. Because why are you talking to it like you've lost your mind?
It's like for you. Black Americans, and I advocate for this. Nigga, me and Big Cat are the blackest of Black Americans. We are true to the Black American experience. We are proud. We also understand that our story doesn't start here nor end here. The Panthers were Pan-Africanists. Marcus Garvey was a Pan-African.
Who cares about these people that aren't alive anymore? We can be happy about the things that they did and the work that they put in, but they're not alive anymore. This is 2026. I don't care if these people were Pan-Africanists back then. How does it serve us today? How does it serve the average Black American that is holding down a household and a family? How does Pan-Africanism serve us today? It does not. And it won't serve us until they get their own continent in order. We can't save them. That's the thing. I've said this before, but I feel like the European had us colonized and enslaved for 500 years. And their old business partners, the Africans who sold us, are trying to rework the contract so that they can have us enslaved for another 500 years. And when I say enslaved, I mean enslaved to this Pan-Africanist fantasy where we give them all of the credit for everything that we worked for in this country. That doesn't help us at all. Okay, honey. That doesn't help us at all. And if we were ever going to make inroads with Africa, they would have to make inroads with us first. We've done enough, in my opinion. They need to build bridges for us. I still say that comes from sugar in his tank. Yeah, the way he talks is very feminine. I say he act like a woman with no sense. Because I know me and Danae, we don't act like this. But he act like a woman who ain't got no sense.
Africanists. All the leaders and things that came before you that gave you the blueprint to feel revolutionary were also thinking about global movements, mass communal practices.
And he keeps saying this mass communal practices. Like, I feel like he just learned that phrase. He had to just learn that phrase. We can't do anything globally if we're disjointed here. And we have people like him who is trying to ruin our unity, our movements where we are becoming more insular and working together. He's trying to destroy that because we don't want to attribute the things that we're working on and the things that our ancestors built for us in this country, the inheritance that they gave us. We don't want to give that to Africans and other melanated immigrants because we tried to share with them and all they did was destroy it piece by piece. And when people can't even acknowledge that, it's like, what are you even talking about? He's saying that these people came over here, undermined us because they didn't know no better. Okay, they didn't know no better, but they still destroyed things that we worked for. I can't go to your house, burn it down, and be like, oh, well, I didn't know no better. And you just be like, okay, cool. No, you're going to jail. And that's what we've been doing. We put them on the outside. We have an exclusive group now, and you can't get on the inside anymore because you did too much to mess it up. Like we're still having to clean up things that you did. So now you can't come around no more. I'm so thankful that I developed critical thinking instead of listening to the media for information because I know they it's like once you really awaken to the fact that 90% of the things that you hear in the media is a lie, you really just try to seek out your own information. And with you, Danae, you're an astrologist. You understand that intuition is probably going to tell you more than anything else. And that's what I do. I rely mostly on my intuition because I know I'm not going to steer myself wrong as long as I know that I'm listening to my own voice. And somebody started honking the horn right after I said that, so I'm gonna assume that's confirmation from the universe.
Instead of micro movements.
Okay. Anyways, if y'all want to watch that again, just let me know. But I'm about to go and read some of these comments. Lana Lovehall said he's a confused, angry biracial taking it out on the lineage. I saw the video of him crying about his white mama. That explains it all to me. And that's what Ostel Gray said. Well, no, you said that it was because he got sugar in his tank, but same thing. I will never accept the they just don't know any better excuse. They don't want to know better. So this is what they get. Exactly. I'm sorry, I'm about to respond to her in kind. And they 100% knew better. They knew what they were doing. So why are we lying? Look, another another member of the Black Lion Party. He doesn't even know Stephen A. Smith is a Caribbean, a buck dancing panda bear looking ass nigga. Of course, that's exactly what it is. Like, come on now. His entire position is disingenuous because he's speaking like FBA is an organization, not a people. He's expecting that he wants the FBA to be like a nonprofit organization that goes on Act Blue and asks for donations and sponsors Democratic politicians to speak on the behalf of FBA. That's what he's saying. And I don't when people say y'all don't be outside, I don't believe you're outside either. I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing. I'm not outside. I'm telling you, I am not outside. I have two kids. Most of what my organization is doing is making sure that my kids aren't growing up like coons, like this one, and making sure that they have pride in who they are, in their own identity. That's what I'm doing right now. And I feel like that's what everybody needs to be doing. How are we supposed to be over in Africa trying to help these people when our own households are in disarray? Our own lives are in disarray. We're not out in the streets protesting against ICE. We need to be in the house making sure that we sweep our own porch before we can help anybody. And the people that already have their houses in order, they can venture out into their communities. But we really need to be focusing on ourselves right now. The economy is messed up. People are getting laid off every single day. AI is coming in taking everybody's jobs. Why would we be focusing on anything that does not directly affect us? They want to keep us confused. They want to keep us confused and distracted. So we're not able to pour into ourselves, pour into our families, make sure we have strong relationships with our spouses. This is what we need. Exactly. Do for self first, then maybe others if they align with our interests. That's the problem. We've been so focused doing for other people that we have not been doing for ourselves. And I am a victim of this. I was so focused on making sure all these other people are straight. When I have the issue, I don't have nobody to go to. As soon as I started pouring all of that back into myself, my life got exponentially better. So I can say this from experience. Even on the individual level, you have to make sure you are good first before you start helping other people. And they don't want you to be good first. They want you to expend all of your energy outward. So at the end of the day, you are so exhausted, you don't have nothing left for yourself. And that means you don't have any time to be creative. And that's why we're here. We are creations of the Creator. And if we are going to live in His image, like they like He intended, we have to be creators. We have to be creative. We have to be able to use our imagination. We're unable to use our imagination if we don't have the energy to put into ourselves. So that's why this whole Africa conversation, I had to tune it out because it's all the way on the other side of the world. I have no plans to go to Africa. I have no plans to take a trip to the next state over. I really do not have the bandwidth in my mind to focus on a place that I don't even see myself ever visiting. The ancestry part, okay. Okay, I have African ancestry, but I also have European ancestry. Do I have any plans to go to Europe and connect with them? Try to find some cousins over there? No. That's why all of us connecting on the basis of skin color makes no sense. Because we're at the part in the story. We're in the part of our story where the only people that we can connect with and align with are people that are on code with us. I don't care if the person across the street is black. If me and him don't think the same or we don't have the same goals, there's no way that I can align with you. And that's just my neighbor across the street. So we really have to start thinking about all of this propaganda that they've been putting in our heads. You know what I mean? Like they've been telling us, oh, well, since you have the same color skin as this other person, y'all share the same story. You share the same goals. That's not true. That's not true. And we really have to in all of our relationships, we have to start asking more questions. Because if we can't align on the basis of not even just align on the basis of identity, if we can't align on the basis of morality and integrity, then that's where the conversation ends. And obviously this guy Deante Kyle, we can't even align. We can't even align on the fact that us being Black Americans have given us a unique story in this country, and it's different from people who just got here. I said this yesterday. We are not the same as someone who just got here yesterday and they're on a visa just because we have the same skin tone. And that is not a good way to ally with someone. Me and you can't be allies just because we have the same color skin. It's not how it works. And I feel like it was easy to confuse it right after the Civil Rights Act and the Immigration Act because there were a very, very small number of melanated immigrants from other places that did participate in the civil rights movement. And at that time, they aligned with Black Americans. And that's different. Like the Cicely Tysons, the Farrakhans, the Sidney Poitiers. They were different. They shared a consciousness because they were living the same life in the present day at that time. If you came over after, there was a completely different goal. I've seen stories of them telling once they come over and they have to, because they have to have like meetings with immigration and those types of people, just so they can stay in the country and while they're trying to get their citizenship. They were told not to deal with us. And of course, coming from a foreign place, coming to coming somewhere new where you don't know anyone, of course you're going to listen to the people that have the power to send you back to your home country. And I understand that, but that doesn't mean that me and you have anything in common, because now the tables have turned. Things have changed. Like, even if they did have something in common with us, today they don't, because the government has introduced a new variable, and it's the fact that if you're here illegally, you can be sent back home. And Black Americans, we are already home, so they have nowhere to send us. And these people, they wish that we could be deported. They want us to be struggling like them, you know? They want us to be able to be struggling like them, because that means that they would have somebody to fight on their behalf that actually has some type of political power. They don't have political power. They're realizing that they were literally just like indentured servants. And their time is up and it's time for them to go. Let's read some more of these. I've already been on here for 45 minutes. I got to get off in 15 minutes to go pick up a scene. I would like to do longer shows, but since I'm not making money doing this, I'm not able to pay for StreamYard. So my hope is that I get more subscribers and I'll be able to invest into this platform. But right now, I don't work. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I don't really have any extra money to put into the platform, but if it starts making money, I'll be able to get a better StreamYard plan, and I'll have more room to talk. Because there's so many things that I do want to do. I do want to like, I'd like to start watching movies and stuff on here. You know what? I'll talk about this movie because I was supposed to get paid to critique a movie, and they haven't paid me yet. So if they don't pay me, I'm gonna be spilling the beans. And it's this movie that's coming out on Apple TV with Idris Elba and Wunmi Musaku. I don't know her name, but she played Annie on Sinners. Well, anyways, it was a really, really good movie, but it was pretty much about British Nigerians and their love for white people. And I would love to talk about this movie because there's so much to say. But if they don't pay me for it, I'm gonna get up here and I'm gonna spill it all. Alcel Gray said that's the truth. Right. I ain't, and Danae said, right, I ain't going nowhere because I was born here. My family were born here too. Yeah, it's like they want us to give up our birthright in this country. And like I've said before, that we are receiving a spiritual inheritance that we didn't even know that we had, and that's the power to stake our claim in this country. We are indigenous Americans, and can't nobody take that from us. Nobody else can say the same. That is our inheritance. That is what our ancestors fought for. And people want us to give it up and go to another place where we have to start over. Why would, and there's a lot of Americans living in Africa. I'm not saying don't do it. If that's what you want to do, do it. But that's not my ministry. That is not my ministry. I can't imagine picking up and leaving and going to a country where I do not know the language, I do not know the customs, I don't have a way to make money because there's so many expats going over to Africa and ended up being just as poor as the locals. When you go to these places, you're supposed to be living better than them. But people leave this country feeling like some emotional attachment to this place, and they're not even able to survive there. And we've already seen so many stories of women dying because whatever man they decided they wanted to get with over there kills them, steals their house, steals their resources, steals their money, and nobody knows how you died or anything because the medical system in these countries is so terrible. Dante 3 times X says, exactly. The black immigrants pre 1965 were riders and true allies. I heard a stat that said black immigrants, yeah, they were less than 1% of the black population. Yeah, yeah. They were to the right of the decimal point, which means there was so little of them that they didn't even register. But every time we have to talk about, oh, Shirley Chisholm, she's Caribbean. She broke down barriers. Of course she did. They weren't going to let a black American woman be the first black woman to run for president. There is a reason. They realized that they could put blackface marauders up and they could end up being the first to do whatever, and that we would accept that because they had the same color skin as we did, because we were in a system that had a black white dichotomy. It was either you were black or you were white. It was no in between. Even the browns of today, they were considered to be white back then. And then they realized, oh, they're getting all of these set asides because of the civil rights movement. They're getting civil rights. Well, we want civil rights too. So they created, their own buffer class in order to siphon the rights away from black people that they had just fought for. So this is like a game to these buffer class blackface marauders. It's like a game to them. They're trying to see how much they can take. And I understand because they come from these primitive cultures where that's what they do back home. All they do is steal, backbite, you know, they do anything they can to get over. And then they come here and we pretend like they're a different person because we've in this country we've always had like an expectation of safety. At the end of the day, we can walk down the street and expect not to be murdered in the middle of the street. Like I've never thought that I could walk down my street and be killed at any moment. That is a possibility, but I still feel safe enough to walk outside of my house. In many of these places that these people come from, they don't have the expectation. So I don't know why we treat them we like they have some type of moral compass when we haven't seen it yet. And all of this and honestly, all of this is being revealed the more that we have contact with them and the more that they realize that we have something that they don't, because they're acting out and they're mad at us when we didn't do anything to these people. It's people on the other side of the world calling us imperialists just because we live in America, just because we're American. Don't even care that we are part of an oppressed class, been oppressed since the inception, since before the inception of America. But somehow we're imperialists just because we're American. It's about to get really interesting. And I'm glad that these people are like exposing themselves every chance they get, because we're getting to the point where we're closing the ranks so much that these people cannot get in. And they're going to be stuck on the outside. And it's a shame too, because we are a giving people. We didn't have no problem sharing. Even to this day, it's so many of us who still have no problem sharing, even though these people keep spitting in our faces. Half of them were in the United States when they were calling us that. Exactly. That's what I don't understand. You're here, you're in close proximity to us. You should know that we aren't the people that you claim that we are, but they don't care. They have committed to the propaganda, they have committed to the narrative. And we're supposed to be like, oh, well, it's okay. No, no, no. We can't do that anymore because all that does is hold us back. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready to move forward. I'm tired of being stuck in this black white dichotomy where we're supposed to be subservient to these people that can't hold a candle to us. They don't know how to do anything. They're not creative. All they do is lie, steal, pillage, rape, destroy, and we're supposed to sit back and just let them continue to ruin our lives. No, we're not doing that. And when I was a kid, Michael Jackson used to always say stuff like, don't black and white me. And I never really understood it, but now I understand it. Because when we're stuck in this black white thing, it's like white is good, black is bad. It's like we're telling ourselves that we're not as good as these people that are, they can't do anything for us. They literally can't do anything for us. We've been the ones doing everything in this country. And it's so apparent now that we've been disengaging. Now you can tell all the white people are trying to be black because they know where the energy is. I I'm sorry, I am a Michael Jackson super fan. I love all of his music. There's only probably like a handful of songs that I just do not want to listen to or that I skip when I listen to his albums. I am a super Mike Jack fan. Yeah, I mean, Black American culture is American culture. That's why it was sent all over the world. And they make it seem like we forced it upon them. How did we force it upon Black American culture was going around the world when our uncles were being strung up on trees. But they still make it seem like we forced it upon them. We are the only modern culture. We are modern. We are the only people that were born in the modern world. And what makes us so unique is we don't have any ties to the ancient primitive world. These people that have ties to that ancient primitive world and still trying to live in the modern world, they are very dangerous. Those are the people that chop chop off people's heads in their home country. They're the ones that kill their daughters because their daughter wants to marry some man that they don't want them to marry. You know what I mean? Like they have all of these like weird things that they do back home that is seen as normal that they could never do here. And when they do it here, they go to prison. That's the only song you hate. I hate it's a song on History. I think it's called like Little Susie. I hate that song. I definitely skip that one every time I hear it. Are there any other Michael Jackson songs I really hate? I can't even think of any Michael Jackson songs that I hate. Yeah, I love them all. I think my favorite is I don't know. I love Blood on the Dance Floor. Not the song, but I love that album because he had Morphine on it. Ghost, I love Ghost, and Too Bad. Too Bad is probably like one of my favorite Michael Jackson songs. Well, anyways, I'm getting off on a tangent. I could talk about Michael Jackson all day. I'm such a huge fan. Um, Back to the comments because man, I'm so sick of Deante Kyle. What in the hell is his problem? His white side kicking in. He trying to get the Patreon subs. That's the same thing I was saying. That's what I was saying. Like something, his money must be slow. Something might be going on with his money. And maybe when he went on the Breakfast Club, Charlamagne tried to put him on game and say, "You should. This is what you should do." You know what I mean? To be more visible. Because if you do this, then, you know, paymasters will start looking at you. Maybe. Uh-oh.
There's
What's
black.
this?
My biological mother is white. She gave me up, and I get on my knees and I thank God every day that I was not raised by her, because I know for a fact that my biological grandmother is a racist. My biological father is black. My biological mother is white. She
So he's adopted. Was he raised by his dad? Is that why he said she gave me up? Well, apparently his mom wasn't in his life at all. That's very interesting. Um, that's very interesting. I definitely I'm someone that tries to like look into the psychology of things, like why do people act the way they do? Why do they think the way they do? And of course, most of it is childhood trauma and not having the love of your mother definitely is probably the main reason why we have so many issues with adults today. And it's because a lot of mothers did not want to be mothers. And that's all I would say. I love my kids. I'm so happy to be a mom. I can't wait to have more. And I think my kids can feel my love. But when they don't, they end up being people like this dude. I don't take anything seriously from a biracial man with a white mama. But he clearly wasn't raised by her, so I wonder who raised him. Yeah, he's definitely sounding like Paul Bert. And then that's another thing. He was going around with Conscious Lee. Remember, this the same dude that was platforming Monaleo a few months ago, him and Conscious Lee. We haven't heard nothing from Monaleo. Have y'all heard from Monaleo? Dude grew up his entire life looking for the white woman in him. Why did you say this? Oh, I kind of understand. Well, when I look in the mirror and I'm so light skinned, I be like, do I look white? Like, I really be asking myself, like, do I look white? I be asking myself that question. And I'm definitely not happy with it. You know what I mean? Like I've always had like skin tone hang-ups because my dad is the lightest person in his family. He never knew his dad. My mom is the lightest person in her family. Her mom is very, very light skinned. And on both sides of my family, we were always me, my sis, and my sisters were the lightest people. I come from a family of dark skinned people on both sides. You know what I mean? So it's like I've always had like weird skin tone hangups, wishing that I had darker skin so I could blend in a lot better with my family. But I'm not biracial. Both of my parents are black, so um I can see why someone with a white parent could be confused about their identity. My older sister is half white and she does not um see herself as a black woman, and I don't expect her to, but it seems like she feels more comfortable with her white side. And that's why me and her we don't talk because I'm not with that. I don't know any white people, honestly. In my day to day, I don't have any white friends. So and that's to say like I have a problem with white people. We just don't connect in that way. I just went off on a tangent. I don't even remember what I was talking about. Ooh. Oh yeah, you haven't heard from her since? Yeah. Mana Leo tried it. I'm sure she's still making money and she got fans and stuff like that, but whatever um support she thought she was going to get from us, she would never get that. She definitely tore her draws with us. Um what Yeah, am I gonna have to push back this Kanye show till tomorrow? I probably am, because I definitely have to go get a seam. Ugh. Thank y'all for being here. This is a great conversation, as always. Um, we might have to talk about Kanye tomorrow, or I might even not even talk about Kanye because at the end of the day, I don't care about his apology. I might listen to his album, I might not. He need to get some help. He need to get some help. All these attention seeking people, I don't care if you got. I'm not one of those people who think that because you have a mental illness or something like that, you get a pass too. No, you don't get a pass because you got a mental illness. You know what you said. Anyways, I gotta go get the little boy. I hope that he had a good day at school. But we're gonna be back here tomorrow. We will be back here tomorrow. You know what I might do? I might go live at ballet. I might go live at ballet tonight. Only reason why I haven't done it yet is because I don't want to put the ladies that are in my ballet class on my live, but maybe I can like position my phone in a way that I can you can only see me. But I might go live at ballet tonight. But I'll see y'all tomorrow. Maybe we'll have an expanded show about Kanye West. But if anything else happens, um, with this Deante Kyle situation, I will find out. I did see that Tariq was in his comments on Instagram yesterday, but I also saw some people like my son. My son was in the comments. Curtis King was in the comments. Um, who else? It was a few people that were in the comments agreeing with Deante Kyle about FBA. So we see what side he's on. So if there's any more developments, we will talk about that. But until tomorrow, I will see y'all in the tweets. Assalamu alaikum.